Hey guys, this is Melanie with Best Products, and today I'm here with Jennifer DeWark, Head of Content for Book of the Month. Thank you so much for sitting down with me for a couple minutes today.
Of course.
So Book of the Month is crazy awesome because they've actually been around for 90 years. Can you tell me a little bit about the brand's beginnings?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was founded in 1926, so it is in fact 90 years old.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, it was founded by a man named Harry Sherman. He was a former advertising copywriter, and he just saw that there was a big need for a direct-to-consumer bookseller. This was before the days of Barnes & Noble, before the days of Amazon, and he knew that American consumers were hungry for great books. So it was really the first form of a subscription service. The books were sent to Americans' doors, and he really emphasized just books that were great, that appealed to the judge's taste in whatever form it was. So yeah, I know we'll talk about it, but we definitely helped put a lot of classic American writers on the map.
Yeah, that is awesome. And so the subscription worked back in the day with one book being sent out or a couple?
So they had a featured selection, usually one, sometimes it was two, and then they had some other alternatives. So the model changed over the years, but they would emphasize one or two books. Now it's changed, and we'll get into that. We have 5 books that we feature every month.
Very nice. And yeah, can you tell me a little bit about how it's been a launch pad for some emerging authors that got later great success through the club?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy because some of these books that are taught in schools throughout the United States, like John Steinbeck of Mice and Men, J.D. Salinger, Catcher in the Rye, Gone with the Wind, Ernest Hemingway, those were all emerging authors at one point that Book of the Month helped uncover. So J.D. Salinger with Catcher in the Rye, it was his first novel. I was just reading through some of the old reviews because we actually have those in print.
That's amazing.
And it was really interesting to hear the editors talk about how you really get into Holden's head. You will know this character, after a few pages, and it was just, now we think of this coming of age novel, it's so prevalent, but at the time it was really something new.
Absolutely.
So the Book of the Month judges uncovered that. And Ernest Hemingway is an interesting one because we featured his As the Sun Rises in 1926 and had been featuring his books for 60 years until 1986. So he has a long legacy of being a selected author.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a rich history within the brand.
Cool.
And what qualified in those days for a book to be chosen as Book of the Month?
Well, it's interesting because it's really the same things that qualify a Book of the Month Club book today, which is just that it has to be really something special. It has to resonate with the judge or with the editorial team. And whether it's an amazing book because it has a fantastic plot and storyline, or it has characters that are fully developed, or the writing is just phenomenal. It can be any of those. It just has to be something special and a really great example of that form of book. So, whether it's a memoir or sci-fi or, a contemporary fiction, it has to be an outstanding example within that genre, within that category.
Definitely.
But other than that, it's really, you can look at our selections this month and they're across the board. There's no one defining thing.
That's pretty cool. And so they don't need to be a new release or a bestseller yet in order to make the cut.
Certainly not a bestseller yet. We really are proud when we can uncover emerging authors. Because we want to do our members the service by uncovering some of the best books that they wouldn't have otherwise heard of. So there's a lot of authors out there who when they're coming out with a new book. Featuring the new Harry Potter wouldn't have done our members any service. But yeah, we love new authors. We'll also look at more established authors as well. Yeah, and we do want to make sure that they're being published in the month in which we feature them. It's a great service to our members that you can get them through our club at a really great price. Whereas, at Barnes & Noble or Amazon, a hardcover coming out that month will be more expensive and it might be sold out.
Definitely. At what point did Book of the Month rebrand itself and relaunch into this new model?
Yeah, so just a little while ago, the end of 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We relaunched as an online subscription service, so members can log in and as a part of their subscription get 1 out of our 5 featured books. You can also add up to 2 additional books at a really great price. And we remind you with emails, and it's a great social kind of community type experience. We have really active members who are posting their books on social media. They're interacting on our discussion forums. It's just so great to be a part of.
That's so cool. So the book club part of it is still like the online community aspect, you would say?
Yeah, I would say now, maybe more than ever, we have, all of these members who are reading the same books at the same time, and they're communicating, and they're taking screen grabs of their selection process and which books that they chose, or they're like, I couldn't choose just one this month, so I added 2 additional books. And it's so fun to see. And then you can also see on our site which ones are the most popular, the largest percentage that of members who selected that book. So that's kind of fun to see as well.
Very nice. And how much is a membership? Just curious.
Yeah, we have different plans. Right now, I would say if you want to try Book of the Month, we are offering a great deal. For a 1-month trial, it's $5. Wow. For a new hardcover, you just have to use the promo code READ5, read the number 5, excuse me. So that's, I would say, the best way to start. And then different plans come out to anywhere between $10 to $13, $14 a month.
That's super reasonable for like a brand new hardcover book.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Can you tell me a little bit about the committee of judges that select the books each month, and I guess what they look for, what their preferences are like?
Yeah, we have an eclectic but awesome panel of judges.
Nice.
So we have anyone from, big book bloggers like our judge Liberty Hardy from the book blog Book Riot. She's always, whatever she endorses kind of rises to the top as she reads everything. We have Maris Kranzman, who wrote a book, Slaughterhouse 90210, and she's a big book blogger. She's a great new addition. We have more established book journalists like Lee Haber from O Magazine. So she's literally talking to Oprah about which books to feature, and she works with us.
Very cool.
We have Kim Hubbard from People Magazine. They've got a great book section as well, so we get her best picks. And then we have our celebrity guest judges who are really fun to work with.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right now we have Allison Williams. She studied English at Yale. She's very into reading, so it's fun.
It's a natural fit.
Yeah.
Who are a couple of the other celebrity guest judges that you've had?
Yeah, one of our most popular was famous author David Sedaris.
Oh yeah.
He picked a book, Ghettoicide, in January. We've also had Craig Ferguson. We had Ellie Kemper, who chose the book The Nest, that was really popular for us.
Nice.
And actually, we brought on the author of The Nest, Cynthia Sweeney, to be on the judging panel, which we've done for a few of our books, so that's really fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of the current picks, have you started digging into any of the 5 August picks yet?
I have read all of them.
Really? That's super impressive.
Yeah, well, I'm on the editorial team, so that's one of the perks of my job. I get to read everything. So I am happy to walk you through, if you're a member or not a member. This is, I think, our strongest month to date.
That's amazing.
So I will start with Siracusa. This is kind of a psychological thriller. Delia Ephron is a more well-known author. Her sister Nora Ephron. They're both film writers as well, screenwriters. This takes place in Siracusa, Italy. 2 couples. There's some scandals. There's some deceit, and at the end there's kind of some drama. So it's a great vacation read. I recommend that, and it's a really quick read too. This one I would say is my favorite for the month. It's something really unique. It's a woman, a young girl who is raised in a very hard upbringing. Her mom and her dad are involved with of drugs, and she, does not have a lot. So she's in this ugly, ugly world, but kind of becomes involved in this beautiful love story that's very unlikely. So you'll feel a little bit conflicted, but also kind of hopeful when reading it. It's awesome. Members are loving that. This is Allison Williams' pick, Circling the Sun by Paula McLean. This actually is a little bit older, but Allison Williams just loved it so much. We were happy to feature it, and Paula McLean is just a beautiful writer. It's about a woman who, it's based on a true story. This woman, Beryl, who is raised in Kenya, actually, and she's one of the first female aviators, so it's a fascinating story. Highly recommend.
And also, someone watching is wondering, Miria wants to know, what is both of your favorite books and why? I don't know if one was in the August pick, or if you guys just have like one in general, or I know it's a hard question, probably.
It's a good question.
Well, I really love A Natural History of the Senses by Diane Ackerman. It's a beautiful, it's nonfiction. I believe it was published in the early 90s. Just wonderfully descriptive and really informative read just about all 5 of the senses. I loved it. I got really into that one.
Cool. I'll add that to my list.
Yeah.
I would say of our non-BOTM selections, I really love Cheryl Strayed's Wild.
I do too.
I think it's a great example of a memoir in that it's so relatable. It's highly narrative. You want to find out what's going to happen. Is she going to make it through the Pacific Trail? It's just a great book. I think she's fabulous.
I think she is too.
Yeah.
I love that book.
She's great. And then of these, I think All the Ugly and Wonderful Things has really stayed with me. It's going to go down as one of my favorites.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There are 2 others. Could you just
Yes.
walk us through those 2?
So Dark Matter. We haven't done too much sci-fi. Last month we did Sleeping Giants, and I'm not usually a sci-fi fan, but this one is so awesome because the author, and Judge Maris Cragsman really described this well in her endorsement essay, just kind of brings you into the world, so it doesn't feel like this is some unrealistic, what's going on. You really become immersed in this world, and it brings up this fundamental question, the decisions that we make, are they what make us who we are? So you kind of get to examine that and go back through these different worlds, these different multiverses. It's really cool. It's a thriller too.
Very nice.
And then finally, this is our most popular book of the month so far, The Woman in Cabin 10. This is a Judge Liberty Hardy pick, so of course our members are snapping it up, and it's such a good beach read. For your last days on the beach this summer, I would recommend this. It's about a woman who's on this cruise as a part of her, she's a travel reporter, and then just things go terribly wrong from there, and it's really good.
Awesome. This all sounds so exciting and so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful. So I guess speaking of books, current picks, I have a quick question-answer round, a little bookish question-answer round. Anyone watching, please feel free to chime in with your favorites as well. And so these are just general reading preferences. Do you have a favorite spot that you like to curl up and read in?
Anywhere, any beach, anywhere.
Oh yeah.
More generally.
Super relaxed.
Otherwise, by my window with my cat, Pedro.
Very nice. Do you prefer physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks?
Not even a question. Yeah, but just to read on the beach and have to worry about your device, not being able to see it, or getting sand or wet.
That's super true.
And there's something so gratifying about flipping a page and seeing where you are in the book. And I read a lot of scientific studies that you just internalize and you can recall the content of a book that is actually a physical book much better than an electronic book.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's good to know. Also, the feeling of satisfaction after you finish a physical book is so much
yeah.
better.
You see it
Home
there.
decor, yeah. You just
Is there a book that's been on your shelf or your reading list for the longest time and haven't gotten around to reading just yet?
Yes, I would say Donna Tartt's The Secret History. So I read The Goldfinch, and I wanted to go back and read her first novel that really put her on the map. But, you know, I've been very busy with my book of the month selections.
Yes, that's a large book.
Yes, it is a large book. And yeah, we're actually going to be reprinting it as an exclusive hardcover in September. So that's one book that we've all kind of, you know, on our team. It's kind of a modern classic.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking to bring those back a little bit as extras.
Very cool.
So I'm intending to tackle that.
Very nice. I read it earlier this year. I highly recommend it.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's intense.
Yes.
In a word.
Okay.
Amazing though. So do you, for walking around and getting inspiration, just calming down, is there a bookstore in the area or elsewhere that you enjoy visiting?
I live right next to McNally Jackson in Nolita.
Oh wow.
So that's an awesome one.
Very nice.
And I get so excited when I walk by and I see our featured selections in their windows, which happens a lot.
Nice.
That's kind of exciting for me, and I want to go in and be like, hey. But yeah, that's a pretty one.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I have one near where I grew up called RJ Julia's in Madison, Connecticut. Little shout out. It's an independent bookstore that I absolutely love. I've been going since I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in there.
Independent bookstores are really special.
They are.
I recently went to the Livrario Lello. I'm probably butchering that, but it's the library in Porto, Portugal, where J.K. Rowling she was a teacher there actually for a while, and it's where she got a lot of inspiration for Harry Potter and for, you know, the settings and the beautiful mahogany and these big winding staircases. And I posted it on our Book of the Month Club Instagram, and it was gorgeous.
That's amazing.
It was so nice.
Great.
I recommend going there for book lovers or non-book lovers.
And do you have a book that you've read recently that you think is going to be like the next, I know this might be weird, like the next American classic that people are getting like 70 years, kids are going to be like, no, this book in like 2015 or whenever, or 20 whenever it came out, and it like changed the canon or like changed literature?
Well, so that's what we hope to have in mind for all of our Book of the Month selections. I mean, that's a lofty, you know, goal for any of them. But we were recently talking about this. I think one of our 2015 selections, Fates and Furies, that was that could go in the books as a modern classic. And, you know, then soon after, President Obama said it was his favorite book of 2015, which is really interesting because it's about a relationship. So that was a great book. And then, yeah, I would say All the Ugly and Wonderful Things is really resonating with me. So I'm hoping. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe this is kind of a no-brainer question, but do you ever read multiple books at once?
Yes, I
All
do.
the time, probably.
But I would say, and we always talk about this,
Mhm.
and we, you know, practice this when we're reading through all of our selections. If something is really not grabbing you after 50 or so pages, don't feel the burden to finish it. You know, life is too short. There are way too many great books that are out there. You know, just put it aside and purge. We recommend, you know, if you have a bunch of those books, purge, bring them to Goodwill, donate them, give them to your friends or not if you didn't like it. But, you know, don't let it hang over your head like something like a chore that you need to finish. You know, our intention with all of our selections is to make it so that there's no question you want to finish this book. Like, it's not, you're looking forward to bedtime or your commute or whenever it is that you can pick up that book again. So yeah.
That's really great advice. So yeah, I'm sort of going through that now. There's those, I don't know, benchmark books that are just classics or just important reads, and sometimes they just don't resonate with you the same way they do with others. And
Yeah.
nothing wrong with just putting it aside for a little while.
Absolutely. But I think, yeah, we also talk about, you know, our mix, because we aim to feature a variety of books every month. And some are going to be a little more literary, maybe, you know, not harder to get through, but they really require a lot more concentration, you might say. And then others you can just fly through, and, you know, it's kind of a lighter, fun thing. We call them kind of, you know, palate cleanser. And you're not going to want to read all the same type of book, especially if you're an avid reader. You're going to want to, you know, be introduced to new things.
Popular books from this year.
Yeah, well, you know, it's National Book Lovers Day. So we just went back and looked at, all of our book lovers, all of our members, the books that they selected the most in each month. So you'll see they're right here. There's a lot of mystery, thriller, suspense novels. So Missing Presumed, which was one of our books last month, Before the Fall, which is Noah Hawley. He's actually a writer on the show Fargo. This book is great. It takes place for us, and it's about this billionaire hedge fund tycoon. There's a murderer who did it. It's one of our most popular books to date.
Very cool.
Woman Cabin 10, which we talked about, and then I Let You Go, which is another kind of mystery thriller. There's a murder. Liberty Hardy also picked this one. It was a UK book, and it's really a page turner as well. And then a few of the others to highlight are The Nest, which you talked about, Ellie Kemper's selection for April. Cynthia Sweeney, who's the author, is now a book of the month. So we read, that one did really well for us. But yeah, you do see some kind of the same trend. So that's why, it's really important to have a great panel of judges who know what's out there and can really pinpoint what stands out from the rest.
Absolutely. All right, just to kind of wrap up our question and answer round, who is your favorite author or authors?
Yeah, so I really love, it's a hard question, but I love Curtis Sittenfeld. I read one of her early novels, Prep, when I was in college, and it was really great, kind of coming of age, stepping into this environment that you're not normally, that's, not your home. I just love that book. And then she recently did Eligible, which is a modern retelling of Pride and Prejudice. That was one of our May selections, which also did really well. Members loved it. And it's so fun. It's super easy to read. It kind of looks like a big book, but it goes by so quickly. The character, I laughed out loud. And then I got to interview her through Book of the Month. So
That's so cool.
yeah, that was a highlight.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And what are you currently reading?
So I am currently reading a memoir by a British journalist named Decca Atkin-Head. It's called All at Sea, and it's about, tragically, her husband died trying to rescue her son. So we've seen, these memoirs, someone goes through a very deep loss, but because she's a journalist, her writing is phenomenal, and it's more than just, the backstory of her and her husband's relationship could be its own book, without this tragic event. And then it's, how she's coping with it and how her life is going on. It's just beautiful. I highly recommend it if you're dealing with grief and loss, or if you just want a great read.
Very nice. Very nice. Is there anything else that we wanted to touch on before signing off?
Well, I think that wraps it up. Yeah, I think that's a great way to end it.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you so much. Check out BookOfTheMonth.com. For this month's picks and to sign up for a subscription. Thank you so much, Jenny, for talking to me today.
Thank you.
See you next time.